Welcome to our channel. Today, we discuss a mind-bending concept that has fascinated philosophers, scientists, and tech enthusiasts alike. What if we're all holograms by the year 2095? Imagine for a moment that everything you see, touch, and experience, the people around you, the trees, the sky above, even the floor beneath your feet, is not real in the way you think. Instead, it's all part of an incredibly sophisticated simulation, an artificial construct designed to mimic reality perfectly. This is the essence of simulation theory, a hypothesis that has gained traction in recent decades, fueled by the rapid advancement of computing power, virtual reality, and our understanding of quantum mechanics. To understand why simulation theory might not just be science fiction, let's first take a step back and consider how far technology has come in a relatively short period of time. Virtual reality and augmented reality, which just a few decades ago seemed like the stuff of fantasy, are now part of everyday life. From immersive gaming experiences to virtual meetings, we are already capable of creating convincing digital worlds. Now, imagine extrapolating this progress a few decades further, to 2095. At that point, computing power may be so advanced that recreating a universe indistinguishable from reality could be not only possible but perhaps inevitable. The idea that we might be living in a simulation is not new. Philosophers like René Descartes questioned the nature of reality centuries ago, asking whether everything we perceive could be an illusion. But what makes the modern simulation hypothesis different is the technological context. Thinkers like Bostrom have formalized this idea, suggesting that if any civilization reaches a point where it can create highly detailed, conscious simulations of their ancestors or alternative realities, the likelihood that we are currently in the base reality diminishes. In other words, if simulated realities can be created, there could be vastly more simulated worlds than actual ones, making it statistically probable that our consciousness exists within a simulation. This leads to fascinating and unsettling implications. If we are indeed holograms within a sophisticated simulation, what does that mean for our understanding of life, free will, and even death? For starters, the concept of physical limitations might be entirely artificial. Gravity, the speed of light, or even mortality could simply be rules encoded into the simulation's underlying software. In such a universe, breaking the rules might be akin to finding glitches or exploiting hacks, much like in the video games we play today, but on a cosmic scale. Some researchers have even suggested ways we might detect evidence of being in a simulation. One approach is to look for irregularities in the fabric of our universe, patterns or inconsistencies that suggest artificial constraints. For example, the way quantum particles behave appearing to exist in multiple states until observed could be interpreted as a computational shortcut, similar to rendering graphics only when a player's perspective requires it. Cosmic background radiation, or the fundamental constants of physics, might also be indicators of a programmed reality. It's a radical idea, but it's one that pushes the boundaries of what science and philosophy can explore together. Another layer to this is the potential purpose behind the simulation. Why would some advanced civilization, or perhaps even our future selves, choose to simulate a universe like ours? One possibility is research or experimentation, recreating historical scenarios to study outcomes without risking real-world consequences. Another is entertainment, an unimaginably detailed form of storytelling or role-playing. Perhaps consciousness itself is being preserved or studied, allowing entities outside the simulation to witness the evolution of life and intelligence. The mind-blowing implication here is that every choice we make, every random encounter, could be part of a grand experiment beyond our comprehension. But let's consider the alternative perspective. What if simulation theory is fundamentally flawed? Critics argue that consciousness and subjective experience might never be fully replicable, no matter how advanced technology becomes. A simulation might reproduce the appearance of reality, but could it reproduce the full depth of human emotion, intuition, and self-awareness? Some scientists assert that even if we could perfectly emulate the physical universe, the essence of consciousness could remain beyond any machine's grasp. And yet, even if we accept this limitation, the possibility of us existing as holograms or as beings within a simulated reality forces us to rethink what we take for granted about existence itself. Now, imagine living in 2095, a world where the distinction between simulation and reality has blurred even further. By then, we might have created our own simulated worlds indistinguishable from the physical world, and the technology could be so integrated into daily life that questions of authenticity become almost irrelevant. People might choose to live entirely in virtual realities, crafting ideal lives free from pain, disease, and scarcity. In such a society, the notion of being a hologram may not even feel threatening. It could be liberating, offering unprecedented control over our experiences. The philosophical implications are staggering. If reality is malleable, then what truly matters might not be the external world, but the experiences we create and the consciousness we cultivate. At the same time, there are ethical dilemmas. If we are conscious entities within a simulation, who bears responsibility for our well-being? Are the creators of the simulation morally obligated to prevent suffering, or are we simply byproducts of an experiment with no inherent rights? These questions echo the debates we already have about artificial intelligence and synthetic life, but on a cosmic scale. The possibility that we are holograms challenges every assumption about morality, purpose, and identity, forcing us to confront the very meaning of being. What about the technological aspect of our future selves? By 2095, quantum computing and AI could be so advanced that simulating conscious beings may become trivial. Imagine a quantum system capable of modeling every neuron in a human brain, generating thoughts, emotions, and experiences that feel indistinguishable from our own. At that point, the line between the real and the simulated becomes not just blurred, but potentially meaningless. If consciousness can exist in both physical and virtual substrates, then being a hologram may simply be another form of existence, a different, yet equally valid, mode of life. Of course, acknowledging this possibility doesn't mean giving up on the reality we perceive. Even if we are simulations, our experiences are real to us, and our choices still matter within the context of our reality. After all, a character in a video game can experience joy, fear, and excitement even if their world is programmed. The difference is perspective. Understanding that our universe might be artificial can inspire curiosity, creativity, and a sense of wonder rather than despair. As we move closer to the future, simulation theory also encourages us to reflect on our responsibilities as creators. If future civilizations, including ourselves, are capable of creating simulated worlds populated by conscious beings, what obligations do we have toward those lives? How do we ensure ethical treatment, respect autonomy, and minimize suffering in realities we design? In many ways, contemplating whether we are holograms invites us to become more conscious creators, even if we are not yet aware of who or what might be observing us. So, what does it feel like to live with the knowledge or even the possibility that everything around you is a hologram? It is both thrilling and terrifying, offering a lens through which to examine existence from a perspective that transcends traditional boundaries. It challenges us to ask fundamental questions about identity, purpose, and the nature of reality itself. And while we may not have definitive answers, the exploration of these ideas expands our understanding, bridging the gap between science, philosophy, and imagination. By 2095, the question might no longer be hypothetical. Advances in technology could make the notion of living in a holographic reality tangible, interactive, and even desirable. Humans may inhabit worlds that are simultaneously digital and physical, navigating experiences that challenge everything we think we know. And perhaps the ultimate lesson of simulation theory is this: reality is not just what we perceive, but what we choose to experience, create, and understand. Whether we are holograms or not, our consciousness defines the universe as much as the universe defines us. So, as we wrap up this exploration of holographic reality and simulation theory, remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. Question your assumptions, embrace curiosity, and consider the possibilities that lie ahead. The idea that we might all be holograms by 2095 is more than a theoretical curiosity, it's a doorway to reimagining life, consciousness, and the future of humanity itself. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of simulations, holograms, and the future of reality, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear whether you think we're living in a simulation or if you have ideas about what the future might hold. Your perspective could spark the next great conversation about the nature of existence itself.